Hey everyone, this is Sean Clancy. Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to discuss what an ETF is, or exchange traded fund. So many of us have maybe heard of an ETF or even a mutual fund, but today I want to focus on what an ETF is, but also discuss the differences of that of a mutual fund. So one main difference between an ETF and a mutual fund is an ETF trades like a stock. So what do I mean by that? You could go on an exchange, and let's say there's an ETF you want to purchase and it's $10 a share. Okay. You could go and you could buy that for $10 a share really anytime throughout the trading day. To where with a mutual fund, the difference there is that will fill after the end of the trading day. So typically 4 o'clock. All right. If you want to purchase a mutual fund, you don't know what that price is going to be until the end of the day. Okay. So the main difference is with an ETF, it trades like a stock. If you see it at $10 a share and you want to purchase it right then and there, you can do that, unlike a mutual fund. But another reason we use ETFs a lot of times is for their tax efficiency. Now, everyone's situation is different. So obviously speaking with your advisor as to what's best for you and your situation is always most important. But a lot of times ETFs have a tax efficiency nature to it. Why is that? The reason why is because oftentimes ETFs are what we call passively managed. What do I mean by that? Passively managed really means the managers of an ETF do not buy and sell within the ETF as much as, let's say, a mutual fund. All right, so let's break those two apart. Really, one common aspect of ETFs and mutual funds are they can be a basket of stocks or even a basket of bonds for that nature. All right, now what oftentimes an ETF wants to do is it wants to track an indice. So let's say a lot of us may be familiar with the S&P 500. Okay, you can't go out and buy the S&P 500, but there are a lot of ETFs that track what the S&P 500 does as far as what stocks are in the S&P 500. All right, so with that, maybe I own an ETF that tracks what the S&P 500 is doing. But that doesn't change very often. All right. So maybe it's a buy and hold approach within this ETF. So there's not a ton of purchases and sells internally, to where with a mutual fund, the manager is actively trying to beat the benchmark. All right. And that benchmark might be the S&P 500. So you have managers in a mutual fund that are buying and selling on a regular basis. And when that happens, that creates long-term or short-term capital gains, which are then passed down to the holder of that mutual fund, all right, the investor. With an ETF, that is happening less often, all right? Now, with that passive approach, oftentimes ETFs are cheaper than mutual funds because we don't have to pay the managers to go in and make those buys and sells. And also, there's not as many transactions. So naturally, it may be cheaper. Now, over the last couple of years, we have seen a change in ETFs to where now there are actively managed ETFs. And because of that, those might be a little more expensive than a passively traded ETF. All right. So oftentimes with, let's say, a non-qualified account, all right, so a taxable account, maybe we will invest in ETFs because it is less, there's less buying and selling, and that means, the tax efficiency is better because with a taxable account, you are going to receive a 1099 for every tax year compared to, let's say, an IRA. Those dollars are being deferred. So you're not going to get a 1099. All right. So a lot of information I put out there, but really the main difference is that an ETF oftentimes is passively invested and also cheaper than a mutual fund. Okay. Internally, the internal cost. So a lot of times we get asked, well, which is better? An ETF, which is maybe passively invested, or a mutual fund, which is more actively. Okay. Well, the answer is, for the most part, Pick a year and it's going to be different. All right. There is no right or wrong answer. It really varies by year. Okay. So, all that being said, if you are interested in ETFs or any investment for that matter, talk with your advisor. If you have any questions for us here at Provision, give us a call. We would love to help. Thanks a lot and have a great day.